Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood with Glen and Dave. I'm Dave Martin. I'm the owner of Martin's Auto Repair down in Central Phoenix.
And I'm Glenn Hayward, the proud owner of Goodworks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And we are here changing the perception of the auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and under the hood.
In these podcasts, we're going to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of owning a small business in the auto repair industry from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Glenn, the proud owner of Goodworks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona. And this is the Underneath the Hood with Glen and Dave show. And I'm these two gentlemen. I've got an extra guest today, Lee Weatherby, and I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves.
Good morning, everybody, and good morning, Glenn and Lee. Dean Barton from Barton's Auto Repair down in sunny Phoenix, Arizona.
Sunny Phoenix, it's pretty sunny everywhere.
It is sunny in Arizona.
But you know, when I say sunny Tempe, everyone, if I leave it out, everyone says, Glenn, where'd the sunny go? Because they know every time I introduce my business, I say sunny Tempe, Arizona.
Wow.
And so it's funny.
Well, hey, Lee Weatherby from Accurate Automotive from sunny Mesa.
Hard not to be sunny, and that's true.
I don't know. Last week we did have a storm that dropped a bunch of dirt in my pool. Yeah, it was well sunny. I mean, that's why I thought it. I mean, I came in the morning. We've been doing some work in the building, and came into the morning at 5 a.m. and then you get that funny little drizzle, and it's 104 outside. You think, oh my word! And down the vehicle, they just look and say, it looks like terrible. Go ahead. Yes, sir. You have a vehicle that you want to kind of talk about and share with our listeners what you're doing with this vehicle.
Yeah, well, we bought a van for our family back in 2005. It's 2004 Honda Odyssey. And so we had, prior to that, we had a Ford Taurus wagon, and it was just miserable. If they were Taurus.
You traded up.
Braking all the time, and we actually couldn't find the right transmission for it because even the dealers saying, no, it's supposed to have this transmission and this transmission. Well, they all fit in there, but none of them worked right. And we changed computers and checked, and nothing would work. Okay, we're talking about two master technicians, they're not the same. Said at the transmission shops, you don't get that kind of work right. So traded it in and got this beautiful Honda Odyssey with 90,000 miles on it. And over the years, now we've owned it for 20 years, and just last week it hit 300,000 miles. So we're going to talk about longevity vehicles, how to keep your vehicle for a long time, and how it drops your cost per mile or cost per year of ownership. People feel like they're pouring money into an older car. Sometimes it is. It's a hopeless cause. You may have a vehicle that wasn't worth buying in the first place. You keep throwing good money after bad. And but the story of the Odyssey is, we raised our kids with this van, took trips all over the western United States.
And you got stains all over the seats too.
Yeah.
Because we all know how that goes.
Believe it or not,
Really?
these kids had uber respect for this car. The Taurus not so much, but
Was there duct tape? Was there duct tape involved in this at all?
napping off stock tape, whatever it's talking about.
Well, you know what I love though, Glenn? It's the discipline that it takes. Most people don't believe that they can get 300,000 miles out of their vehicle. They really don't have that concept that they think, hey, I can take this thing and I can really, really make it go. But like I say, the information that you're sharing right now, cost, what happens? It goes down. Why? Well, because you already own the thing outright. Now you're just getting, you know what I mean? And everybody thinks, well, I've got diminishing return on the investing in this vehicle. That's not necessarily the case. Yeah. And I'm excited that we get a chance to share how you can really go about doing. And so let me throw some statistics out here for you guys here, and we'll talk about this too. According to iSeeCars.com and Forbes magazine, I can't even see that screen. Well, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I'm not there yet. Let me get my eyes on it. Okay. So, did you know only 1% of the vehicles make it past the 200,000 mile mark? Wow. Now, this is a nationwide deal. It's not just Arizona, okay? And just 0.03% of cars roll over the 300,000 mile mark.
0.03%.
So that 0.03%. That's really I guess there's a reason why people don't get you get there. Okay. Well, and we'll talk about this a little bit. I'm going to throw this other statistic out there and we'll talk about it all. The average vehicle on the road today is just 11.8 years old. Now,
I believe, and this is a nationwide statistics, and I believe that those numbers would probably be higher in Arizona because one of the things we don't have here is we don't have snow,
Right.
we don't salt our roads, and we don't have a rust problem.
Right. It doesn't. The cars are absolutely, cancer ridden where they have to be got rid of for safety reasons.
Right.
But there are some judgments on an ordinary amount of people.
Oh, no question. I mean, and
I
I
remember you are driving in 90 plus degrees up to 115, 120.
Yeah. Well, and the interesting thing is, you could always look at this to your point. Cars that are from back east or from areas where they do have snow and rust and generally colder climates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They tend to need different repairs than the ones that we see out here.
There's prevention stuff that's off your side.
Absolutely. I had that conversation with all my clients. I go, the owner's manual is a great guide. The problem with the owner's manual is it's the same here as it is in back east. You know what I mean? And there's different things that you need to do back east to protect your car, and there's different things that you need to do out here to protect your car. And we've seen what the heat-related issues are. So one of the things that we do is we have to customize what your goals are. And you said this earlier before we even got on the podcast. You said on there, once we know what the target is, we can do a bullseye.
Right.
But we have got to make that plan.
It's funny that you said, well, yeah, sorry, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was going to say I was going to interject because you talked about the owner's manual. And I told people, the owner's manual is like the Bible in your hotel room. If that's there, but you're never going to open the drawer and read it. Then that's the way it is. And it's a shame because, people understood how to care for their car correctly. So now it's incumbent upon us to educate them.
Well,
And then they say, well, I'm going to read my order manual and see if what you're telling me is true. And like Dave was saying, we have to modify it a little bit because we have extreme weather.
and see, that was where I was going is it's not specific enough. It's just like you said.
Right.
He didn't get it. And you said great guy. Well, it could be a great girl too.
Yeah.
No,
True.
but
True.
I mean, the owner's manual is written, and I hate to say this, but it's absolutely the truth. It's written as a sales guide. You know what I mean? Because when the manufacturers come out, they put an owner's manual that says, okay, this is what it's going to be for cost of vehicle, cost of repair, cost of maintenance, and then that's how they pre-sell it. And it's a good idea. But let's face it, guys. Even when you take your cars to a dealer, does the dealer follow the manufacturer's recommendation? Or do they have, oh no, if you want your car to do this, you get this one, this package. And it goes back to that good, better, best idea. And the thing of it is, what we're talking about is the target is not getting it into this window of 100,000 miles. We want that target to expand out to 300,000. So now we have to set new sights. And just to your point, Ron, we do have to rewrite the manual so that we can help people understand you have to be more engaged, all right, with your vehicle and with the maintenance of your vehicle in order to get that vehicle to go where you want to go. But it's very, very easy, to do if you just take a disciplined approach and you have somebody that can help you along the way.
Right. And also, too, you got to remember a couple of things that you kind of alluded to. Is number one, when the manufacturer makes a car, they sell cars.
That's correct.
So the bottom line is it isn't advantageous for them to have a 300,000 mile vehicle. And we bought.
They want to sell you four
Well,
vehicles and that's
They're going to sell you more vehicles, right? Because that's that's their business.
If we look at these statistics, they've done quite a good job.
Yeah, and really, I tell when I go to business meetings or I tell my staff or tell my clients, we just want to make sure that we give our clients the most cost-effective miles as a vehicle possible, because that's the important thing. Is if you're going to drive at 300,000 miles and you're going to spend $1 million on it to get the 300,000 miles, well, maybe it's not such a good investment.
But see, here's the best part about that. I love what you said, and I'll share quick short, okay? You guys all know my old white Suburban, okay? When I drove that thing, we got it brand new in 1996, okay? And you know what? I loved it. And this was something that we also talked about right before we got in the air. We get really familiar with our cars. We get into it. I mean, just the way that the seat fits my bottom is really nice. You know?
Yeah.
But it makes the driving experience so much more pleasurable because you're sitting there. You already have a comfort, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you're just kind of, okay, now you can concentrate on, the actual job of driving, you know what I mean? And you're not worried about so many other things. But we have this Suburban, All right. And my wife got to the point where she says, we're going to rent a car because we're going to California. Okay. Now, this was our family cruiser, but just like, you know what I mean? Honestly, this was our family cruiser. We took everywhere in it. Now, you know what? It got to the point where my kids were old and they were gone and they were out of the house. And this is 96. We're in 2016. And I'm thinking, wow, babe, there's no finish time to get another car. I'm thinking, no, man, I'm taking my baby. You know what I mean? 794,000 miles on it. And you know what? We had just taken it to Mexico with a whole group of guys. You know what I mean? Going scuba diving. Well, the key to it is we got back. A friend of ours comes over from a church and says, hey, I got a refugee family that deal, and they need your car. You know, I think my wife had something to do with that.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, she's trying to get rid of your car.
But we ended up giving it away to this refugee family. You know what? They still come in. They have 9 children, 841,000 miles. You guys, it very much is possible, all right, to get this kind of mileage out of your vehicles without having that diminishing return. But the disciplines that go along with that are absolutely essential, because you can't follow the manufacturer's recommendation. Ready? I.e., oh, don't change your coolant for 150,000 miles. No, negative. You know, oh, go ahead and never worry about changing your transmission fluid because it'll go 150,000 miles. No, negative, can't do that.
They paint this picture of this infallible car, thing that nothing could ever go wrong, and they know, in their heart of hearts, that number one, no one keeps their car up for 150,000 miles. I say the statistics that we just read show 0.03% go to 300,000 miles, so maybe 5% go over 100,000 miles, 10%. And so it's really important to realize that what we said, they want to sell you next car. Yeah, so they dangle the beautiful.
It's called, we got a here for you. It's the manufacturer gun was cost per mile thing. So that's what they did. They pushed out the services.
That's exactly.
They pushed out the services, and that's how they do it. So they built them in. Like the cost picture for the cost per mile because they want they get the customer or the client or whatever. Well, it's a cheaper car to maintain.
See, before the cars ever been built, they're selling those cars to municipalities and and all that
rental cars. Yeah.
So what happens is here's what it's going to cost you to own it. But remember, many of those are short term.
Yeah.
Many of those
80,000 miles and they're done.
Sometimes 50.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. They're taking it. Yeah.
Or people lease cars for 3 years and then they're done. They've got 40,000, and they have a mileage limit. They can't put more than 15.
Well, guys, let's do this though. Let's give our people some information. All right, that can really be tangible and usable for them to be able to say, how do I get 300,000 miles?
Okay, I'm going to tell you the story of this.
All right,
that was what this was all about. So, from day one, we took the car and I went to do the first oil change on it, and I realized that the vehicle had never had another oil filter put on it. It had a Walmart sticker, and there was still a Honda filter on it. Wow. I know for a fact that Walmart is not selling a Honda sticker. And so Honda filters. So guess what? That made me a little suspect about why the sticker didn't. So in other words, they're not. Maybe Walmart's not putting filters on people's cars. They're just dumping another oil, putting the sticker in your window. They know you're not going to look under your car to see if they changed the filter. That does happen at a lot of shops.
Oh, no question.
I had a vehicle come in once. The guy, I actually have a video of one of my short videos on. Shows an oil filter that looked like someone had packed sand, dirt, and mud inside of it. He'd been going to Deaf Boys for seven years having his oil change. And I'm willing to bet they never changed this filter once. Wow. And I said, were they billing? He said, yeah, look at my invoice. They took out all his invoices. No, they're billing him for a filter that they never put on his car because they're making, $3, $4, $5 more money and less labor, not spinning a filter out. And I cut the filter open and I opened it up and I showed a great video if you guys want to watch them.
So the key is what you're talking about is service intervals, all right, really being done exactly. And obviously you have to replace, every component that goes along with that. The filters, IT being the most expensive because let's even talk about that. We run, I'm a 3,000 mile oil change guy. You use synthetic, go fine. But, in our guides anymore, they'll tell you some guys have 15,000, some guys have 10, some guys have 12. But if you read a little bit further into those quote-unquote manuals, at 60,000 miles, something funny happens. all of a sudden, I don't know what happens at 60,000. Does anything happen at 60,000 miles in a car that's different that you guys know? Because I've been around a long time, but I got to be honest with you, 60,000 miles is the same as it was at 59 or 55 or 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, at 60,000 miles to somebody's been to the system, oh, now we recommend that your service interval no longer is 15,000 miles, but let's go to 7,500. And you're going, whoa, what? And people are just like, oh my word. Once again, what did we talk about? It's written as a salesman, because a lot of those places in the interim are only keeping them up to X amount of miles. But then when you actually get the vehicle, you want some longevity out of it, you have to do the maintenance on a very, very condensed schedule.
Well, it's one of the things that you brought up a really good point, and I know brought in.
Oh,
I
yeah.
talked about that in the podcast before, is that when if you run your vehicle 15,000 miles, that means the average person puts around 15,000 miles a year. So you're gonna go and have set eyes on that vehicle once a year.
Yeah.
And we all know that you need to do a little bit more than that. And how many times have you taken an oil change, looked the vehicle over, and we all do digital vehicle inspections, and look over the car, take pictures, and do all that stuff, and find something that is going to be a problem.
Yep.
And we can save that customer from being on the back of a tow truck.
You know what? An ounce prevention is definitely worth a pound of cure in this particular scenario. That's like you're talking about.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm going to go back to my story now with the, not that nothing that you said was important. That was all really great, relevant information, but to continue the story of the Odyssey. So we, took all of our trips, used it as a family car and everything. And then I believe it was 237,000 miles. Now, mind you, that is the worst transmission from I think it's 1999 to 2004. They built the worst automatic transmission they ever built. They did. That one had it in it. So, but here's something about good maintenance. I flush that transmission fluid every 10, 15,000 miles like you're supposed to. It lasted through 237,000 miles. Okay? So I had to change it out. But we were on our way back from Disneyland. But the kids, when the transmission decided, but yeah, we're on the side of the road on the Arizona-California border, wondering what we're going to do. So it's a Sunday, call the tow truck. Tow truck never shows up. So Rand was driving the car. I was kind of sleeping on the side. I usually do all the driving. She says, "Well, when the tachometer's going up, but the car's slowing down. I'm hitting the throttle. It's not going anywhere. I mean, literally just quit moving, right? So we'll pull over. Let's see what's going on." So by the time she pulled over, smoke was coming out of the thing was belching transmission fluid out of the dipstick tube and all over the hot engine, right? I'm thinking, this is pretty embarrassing. I'm a shop owner. I take care of my car meticulously. It's got 237,000 miles on it.
Well, more importantly, the kids were pretty frustrated. You know what I mean? Dad, hey, out in the desert, not getting home.
The saving
But you are a mechanic.
the engine was still running in the air conditioner. So
Be important.
yeah, the engine blew off.
His wife didn't kill him.
And so we sat there idling on the side of the road. Hour and a half later, the tow truck did the shelf. I called back, "Oh, you're supposed to be there, but to go to this football season, it's like, it's 115 degrees here on the side of the road. Here's my mother and my kids and my wife in this van, and they're not going anywhere, So I said, "Well, the heck with it." So I put the car in drive and I told to drop in. So I started coasting down the side of the road. The shift it. So I went to the nearest, there was a big Union 76 truck stop there. So I pulled in, got a couple of quarts of transmission fluid, filled the thing up, and we drove it all the way home. I took out of it. That was amazing. Yeah, so the transmission got overheated, and I didn't even replace the transmission at that point because it was shifting fine.
Well, let's not get false hope to our listeners.
Yeah, right. It doesn't always happen. Very rarely doesn't happen.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that really are important that you talk about that are number one. All right. And I just want to point them out because sometimes they can get lost. You know what I mean? What happened? You know what I mean? First off, 200.
My wife was driving. I could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn.
On there, Glenn.
Okay. 237,000 miles, like you say, on what was it? Unknown or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I bragged about it. How I got it there, my transmission was still working great. I told my customer, "Look, this is the worst transmission that Honda ever built. I've got over 200,000 miles on it."
But how many people that do help along the way? Because like the 10 to 15,000 mile oil changes or fluid exchanges, because on Hondas, they don't have filters. Those are internal. You know what I mean? And if you were going to change a filter in a Honda, you'd have to overhaul the transmission. You know what I mean? Because it's the last thing on the last valve on it. You know what I mean? But the best part about it is you kept that fluid fresh. And you guys, how important it is, especially out here in the climate that we have, to tune the fluids on a very routine basis. Dave, to your point, we can't wait 15,000 miles or a year between service intervals and changes. We have to do that a minimum. I mean, I don't every year go to 7,500. I do 5,000. So, I mean, I want to see people coming in at least 3 to 5 times per year for basics,
Right.
for oil changes.
Yeah, new filter. The thing is that all you're just trying to get more money out of me. That is the cheapest service you can do on your vehicles, an oil change, and the thing that's gonna extend the longevity of your motor.
Yeah, you got to debunk those myths. Though. See, that's the education thing is, no, we don't want your money. We're trying to help you save your money. We call it, the way we break down a car is funny in Accurate Automotive. It's safety, pocketbook safety. That pocketbook safety thing, that's what you're doing. You're helping them save their own pocket. That's what I mean.
Right, and also one of the biggest things that you can do is just stay on top of the maintenance part of it. Have somebody look over the vehicle, have them do a complete check on your vehicle or inspection. What I was trying to say, inspection, but we didn't bring up the safety items. The safety items are so important. You obviously want to make sure that they're all, brakes are kind of important.
You bet.
If you have a lot of whoa or a lot of go and no whoa, you got a problem. So there's another statistic up here that I'll kind of want to read off. These 7 cars and trucks are twice as likely to make it past 300,000 on an average, based on the statistics. So, and let's not kid ourselves. There is certain customers that go out and they want to buy a vehicle. Let's say they want to buy a brand new vehicle, and they tell me, I want to do a lead that I want to get 300,000 miles out of this vehicle. And I know in my shop, we tell them to buy certain vehicles and not to buy certain vehicles. Because there is some vehicles out there that it's pretty difficult to get 300,000 miles out of them. They've got something, and you can't get 300,000 miles out of them. Don't get me wrong. It's just, becomes very expensive to get it there.
And Dave, I'll tell you what, that is so important, what you're talking about, because we do know that there are vehicles that we would recommend versus vehicles that we might say, and that's the other key point that I want to bring up, is that if you really do want to get 300,000 miles, you need to be working with a quality facility, all right, that has this information, that is going to really be honest and truthful with you and say, hey, listen, it doesn't make sense for you to put the money towards this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because our expectation is not founded. But yet, if you have this type of vehicle, to your point, you've got a list here.
Yeah.
I said can't read it, but
Yeah.
you've got a list here.
And let me just throw that out there. And so number 1 is Toyota Tundra at 2%.
I got one in out of the truck.
Yep, there you go. Number 2 is Toyota 4Runner, 2%. GMC Yukon XL is 2%. Chevy Suburban, 2%, which you just talked about. Lee,
Yeah.
the Suburban.
Yep.
And Ford Expedition, 2%. And a Toyota Sequoia, 4%. And a Toyota Land Cruiser, 1.5%. So there's a lot of Toyotas in there. If you notice, there are 4 Toyotas in there, a couple GM products.
No, so there's no Land Rovers and there's no Outrageous and the Mercedes and the those.
Hey, where's Porsche, man?
Yeah, that's cool.
We used some of those Australian quality cars back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. People brag about their Mercedes and their Audi and their whatever, the European cars that would last for 300, 400, 500,000 miles, and with really minimal problems.
Yeah.
Which not that they didn't do maintenance on them, but the point is that the degradation of the quality of those cars has gone down drastically. There are now those expensive are on the bottom of the list of the 30 best to worst cars. They're number 26 to 30.
Well, and I got to tell you something. Whenever I get a customer that comes in and wants to buy a status car or higher car, I always tell them, I said, it's great. They're great cars, But the problem is they've got so much stuff on these cars. They got so many bells and whistles. You know, they come in and these customers are so happy. They push a button, it does this. They push a button, it does that. And all I see is when that stuff breaks, it's going to cost a fortune.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you have to look at the vehicle that you're buying, and you have to remember that, hey, all these bells and whistles and all these little comfort things that you have in your car someday will malfunction.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you're going to have to deal with
You know, something that they never added to these vehicles is a fart detector.
Oh man.
You know, just to have a little vacuum thing and suck out the smell and spray some perfume in the car or something.
I'm gonna
It's a luxury car.
that's digression right there. They're gonna have to.
Well, Glenn,
away from that.
there's an invention for you right out of that. One of these days when you're
I'm going into the laboratory.
when
I'm the laboratory.
you're blown out of your mind,
I'm gonna do my best to try to pull this back around. I know I'm only guess, but let's do this. The same to your point and to yours. You know, you have, let's call them good cars and then cars that are not necessarily expected to make it to the same longevity.
They're needy.
Hey, all of the cars or all of the disciplines are identically the same if you want to get to 300,000. It doesn't matter whether you're driving a Toyota. You know what I mean? Don't give up hope just because, oh man, I have this. No, it's not that. What it boils down to is if you will take and make sure that you're working with, let's call it a quality facility, okay? You're working with making sure that you are disciplined to change your fluids on a, let's call it, motivated maintenance schedule. Because you have a target that you'd like to reach, that means you've got to become very specific. Right? So change your fluids routinely. See, the thing of it is, everything is about routine. All right? If we go to a restaurant, okay, classic example, and it tastes good the first time, we'll go back. Then as we go back the second time, it does taste so good. Do you give it a third try? Well, maybe not. But you know what? If it's routinely good, every time you go back, all of a sudden you build that comfort. Just like I talking about sitting in the seat.
And it's how your cars to go there too.
That's right. Well, the thing of it is, it's the same with your automobile. If we will change the fluids, make sure that we're changing those filters. Glenn, couldn't be more apropos, you know, changing the filter. If you even suspect something like that, oh my word. I mean, like, I don't even want to think about that. Because the thing of it is, sometimes I hear these claims, our oil will go, 80,000 miles. You're like, oh man, there's not a filter made that can,
Yeah, the oil looked good. I personally changed his oil. His oil looked good. It was dark, but it wasn't chocolatey, right? But I pulled his filter out, and it looked like burned oatmeal.
Yeah.
Literally was coming out. And I turned it upside down, and I said, "Sir, would you come over here?" And I showed him his filter. He says, "Oh my God,
We got the extra filtering in there.
yeah, the oatmeal."
And we've all pulled into the water,
Yeah.
found a bunch of sludge in these motors.
Absolutely.
And so we know what happens. We know why it happens and how it happens. We just want to prevent it from happening.
Well, and we've talked about this, and it's funny because going back to the beginning of the show, yeah, Glen, you know what I mean? From sunny Tempe,
Yeah.
you guys, we are in a climate that is more intensely heated. Our cars really are different than cars that would be in other states.
Oh, absolutely.
We have to follow a different maintenance schedule. And the thing of it is, like I said, we wrote out a maintenance schedule for Accurate Automotive, for what we want to do with our customers. I'm sure you guys have as well, to make sure that they're going to change the fluids on a routine basis, that they're going to make sure to take care of all the safety items, just your rotating the tires. You guys, and let's face it, how often or how frustrating is it for drivers that are on the road when the right rear brake light or the tail lights are out? You don't even know the guy's trying to turn. You know what I mean? You're thinking, wow, everybody's like, oh, that's not a big deal. I won't take care of that. No, you have to take care of that. That's the safety element we're talking about.
Right.
The little things.
Right.
You don't want to ever let the little things become big things. And that's how.
That's what piles up.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. You're 100% right. Yeah. Once you let the little things go, then all of a sudden it gets overwhelming.
That's correct.
It's overwhelming. Well, hey guys, it's another great podcast and great show. And is there any final thing you want to say, Glenn, before we go?
I just want to say, make sure that you, even when you're going to buy a car, consult with your shop that you do business with. Ask them what the best cars are. I get that question all the time because I offer that information to people. What are you looking for? What do you need? And then I help them make a best choice. both in their price range, driving their car, and ask them what they're going to be using it for, and that kind of thing. So that really has a big bearing on it. So that's kind of trust you on everything customer.
Yeah. And and one thing I want to say is find a good shop, stick with the shop, build that relationship with that shop. Because one of the things, if you're bouncing around and you're going to Joe's, Brad's, Mary's, and getting your car serviced, you might be actually over servicing your vehicle and spending more money than you need to, or you might be under servicing your vehicle and using the ability to run that vehicle for 300,000 miles.
And Dave, I would say thank you for sharing that, because I believe that is the main key, all right, to getting the longevity that we want out of your vehicle.
Yeah.
You have to find a quality shop, but then you have to consistently go there too.
Yeah.
Because like you say, too many times, we hear, oh, well, I go to this place for my oil change, and I go to this place for something else, and I only come to you, you know what I mean, if I have a check engine light or something like that. I'm going, hold on, folks, we got a little bit of education we got to do. We need to see it all the time so that we can help you understand how we're going to get here. You know what I mean? Because other people don't know the plan. Remember, we are partners with our customers. And you know what? We have to rely on them, you know what I mean, to give us the information necessary, because we don't drive their cars. We know about their cars, but they're the ones who have their
Too many, to your point, too many cooks in the kitchen usually make a bad meal. And so, hey, any other last words? And
guys, I want to say this. It's possible. That's the one thing I want people to know.
that's a good phrase.
It is. It's possible, and it's likely. You know what I mean? If you remain focused on, you can get what you want. You know what I mean? You just have to discipline yourself to go after it.
Right. And thank you all for watching. We appreciate it very much. And I look forward to doing another podcast with you guys.
Guys, thanks for having me.
For sure.
Have a great day.